Hey, what's going on, YouTube fam? Hope you're doing great today. I put out a video the other day on some 3D printers, and there were some questions asked in that video that I figured I'd just make a video on overall just to answer some of those questions. So let's just get into it. First question I had was, could you print petg PLA on the X2D that I have sitting over there on the auxiliary nozzle? And yes, you can print petg, PLA, ABS, and ASA on the auxiliary nozzle. It does print slower. The print quality is slightly, and I say very, very slightly, degraded on the retract side of things. And I'll input a little video of some benchies that you can look at here. These are all printed on the X2D, by the way, what I'm showing you at the moment. This benchy is out of the primary nozzle, and it looks really good. Almost, I'd say, pretty much perfect in the realm of the benchy. And this is petg, Bambu Labs petg, and it's dry to 15% humidity. So as you can see, it does print very well. That being said, this is the X2D auxiliary nozzle print. Same filament, same moisture. You can see you do lose a little bit of the quality, as it is a Bowden style, and the retract on it is a little slower, but it's a very acceptable print. I'll hold them side by side here. Hopefully, you can see very, very similar. And for the most part, if you're printing PLA or just petg, I think that either one of these would be fine. Just do keep in mind that on the secondary nozzle, it does take a little longer to print, but the part is acceptable and the quality is acceptable. And but other than that, yes, they print fine. Another question I was asked was, could you print TPU on the X2D without the TPU filament pusher motor? Yes, I was able to print TPU just fine on my X1 carbon and my X2D. The only thing is you need to be using the external spool holder, and you need to feed it directly into the main direct drive or main nozzle of the X2D, and it will feed and do the filament, and I had zero issues with it whatsoever. That being said, it probably will work better with the TPU motor because you're pulling the filament on two sides at the same time, so you're not stretching it a little bit. But I didn't notice, I don't have it to test because it's out of stock, but the TPU test print that I did, it printed fine. So I don't really see any issue with that. So yes, you can do that. I will be purchasing the TPU motor when it is back in stock, whenever that may be. So let's get that out of the way. The other question that was asked is, would I get the, would I purchase the X2D or would I get the P2S? I don't have a P2S, so I can't speak on that. But what I will say is, somebody who has not been sent any printers by anybody and who has purchased all the printers that I have from Bambu Labs, one thing that I'll say is, in my opinion, for me, and everybody's different, but for me, I would rather buy an item that has more than what I need at the time that I can potentially grow into, than buy something less than I need that I may need later and have to rebuy something to get what I could have bought the first time. It's kind of like buying a good tool once. That's how I say it. And I'm not saying that the P2S is a bad tool, but at current pricing, the P2S combo is $7.99. The X2D combo is $8.99. For $100 difference, you're getting several better options for your money that you can't buy for $100. And a prime example of that is I have the Panda Touch on my X1 Carbon. That heated chamber unit is probably the best on the market. It's automatic. It cuts on automatically, cuts off, just as though it was built into the unit. But it was $119 when I bought it. So that alone, and you could probably, matter of fact, I'm almost sure it would have to go on the opposite side, the left-hand side on the P2S, but I'm sure you could retrofit that for the P2S, but at that point, you've already bought the X2D spending $100 on the Panda Touch. So, or excuse me, the Panda Breathe. So there's really no point in that. So biggest differences between the P2S and the X2D is, of course, the X2D has the dual nozzles. I'm going to say it like this. It's 1.75 nozzles on the X2D. It's not quite H2D nozzles, but the auxiliary nozzle is absolutely perfect for support material, and or if you're doing multicolor prints, it's good for that in PLA, petg, and stuff like that. Even ASA, ABS, it would be fine for that. But if you wanted that most detailed stuff, that's where I just say it's about a quarter shy of the full thing being on a Bowden system, but it is it still prints a part that is acceptable. And when you're using them in conjunction with one another, you really can't tell. So you get dual nozzles, so you get an extra nozzle, you get the chamber heater. Not that it's a huge big deal, but the build volume on the main nozzle on this machine is 256 by 256 by 260. So you get 4 more millimeters of build volume on the main nozzle. The secondary nozzle, it doesn't really apply. It's 235.5 by 256 by 256. And the P2S is going to be just straight 256 by 256 by 256. So you still get the same build volumes in that. As far as if you're looking at the tool heads of the unit, which I see, that's a good picture. That's the tool head on the X2D. There's your secondary nozzle. Of course, you wouldn't have this on the P1S. But as far as the server, precision, permanent magnet motor, servo motor, the same motors that's on the P2S. The X2D does have more sensors and whatnot, and you are able to do, as of May 1st, at least on my unit, I do have the Bambu Lab switching power plug on the back of my AMS2, but I can dry filament without printing, and or I can actively print while drying the filament at the same time on mine with the addition of that power cord. Just do keep in mind that each additional AMS you add, you'll need that power cord for to print and dry at the same time. Both have the 5-inch touch screens on them, the same Generation 2 GUI interface. One of the other differences is I don't know if they'll have a picture of it. Can go out to see if they show it on here. I don't. There we go. That's a good picture right there. You can see on the little display, it has the rear exhaust filter on there. The P2S does not have that either. It does actively put the chamber where it needs to be. Like if you start a print and the chamber's too warm, it'll come up and say cooling chamber, and it'll start pulling in the cooler air from around the ambient room to cool down the chamber temperature to start to print. And it does make a big difference in there. So that's the biggest differences you get when you're looking at these. So again, you buy what you want. If you're only ever going to do petg and PLA of pretty much any flavor, you can get the P2S and you're going to be perfectly happy. You're not going to have to really, you're not going to be missing anything if that's all you're ever going to do. But if you think that you ever might want to try anything else different or more advanced or do anything such as that, just get the X2D, spend the extra $100. It'll be well worth it. And I will just tell you from experience, because when I started this, I got an A1 Mini, and I was like, I'm just going to tinker around with this and make cool stuff for around the house. And then it just turned into somewhat of an addiction of making everything. Like I was like, oh, I can make a thermostat housing. I can do this. I can do that. Now I've got my whole weight room's got, you know, my plate racks are 3D printed out of nylon carbon fiber, or excuse me, ABS glass fiber. So I mean, I see a problem and I print it and make the solution. So if you think you might want to, that's the route to go. But as always, guys, I appreciate you. If you have any more questions or whatnot, feel free to put them in the comments below. If this video helped you in any kind of way, hit that like button, do hit that subscribe button. If you don't mind, share the video, give it a hype, that would help. It'd be greatly appreciated. And we will see you in the next one. Have an amazing weekend coming up.